Hello again and welcome back to the Too Deep Coverage Podcast. This is our Week 1 recap, going over some of the best games and memorable moments of the week. We're going to be going over all the primetime games and a couple from the week that stood out to me. And then we'll have our finishing drive, and we'll look back at some moments and some not so amazing moments. I'm just thrilled to get back into talking about the games and the storylines leading up to the conference championships and the Super Bowl. So be sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed Week 1 of the NFL, and be sure to subscribe, that way you're tuned in every week. Let's get into it. But first, I have to talk to you about my friends and partners over at W Energy. Since 2021, they've been making the safest, cleanest, best tasting, crash-free energy drink on the market. This American-made, clean formula energy drink is made to give you a long boost of energy and concentration with no crash or slump afterwards. All flavors are unique and made by W, so you'll never find our taste anywhere else. With multiple limited time and hydrating flavors, you'll always find your next favorite with us. With all drinks having no sugar, no fillers or artificial colors and dyes, no secret or hidden ingredients, and of course being gluten-free, W is the best drink to hit the market in years. With every drink averaging out to be just $1 each, your pocket and body will thank you for making the switch to W Energy. Whether you want to switch it up daily or stay committed with your favorite flavor, W has all the products you need, from packs, tubs, and even cans. Be sure to use the link in the description to get your starter sampler pack or whatever amazing product you choose with an extra 10% off using my code TWIZZLER. It's like the candy, but with a 2 Whizzler. Add some energy and focus back into your life today with W Energy. Alright guys, so to start off on Thursday night, the kickoff game, Cowboys at Eagles in Philadelphia. It was a crazy game. I'm sure you've heard people talk about it during the week. The weather delay in the middle of the game caused Lane Johnson to not come back out. I'm sure it affected a lot of the other players, to be perfectly honest. I'm sure it affected a lot. There was no more scoring after the weather delay. So you just kind of go back and think, well, what would the game really be like, especially with the way the Cowboys were playing, if they didn't have to stop and go back into the locker room for an hour. A couple points I just want to go over. I have a few on each game, and I'll just kind of ad-lib in between. Jalen Hurts seemed unstoppable, and he had no receiver help. Now, I know he didn't throw the ball to his receivers very often, but I think that part of Dallas's team that's underrated is their defense. They've had a good defense for quite a few long years. They have a good secondary. So I'm not surprised, especially since, the Cowboys game plan against the Eagles twice a year. I'm not surprised he wasn't able to throw the ball very well. But the thing is that unlike Lamar, when he gets kind of flustered or loses options, he just figures out what to do. Whether it's tush pushing, whether it's running, whether it's, handing the ball off. Whatever he has to do, he is the leading rusher on the team as well for the game. So, he did it all. He did it all for his team. He looked like Superman out there. Super Bowl MVP. Looked like he fit in with that company. Second point, Dak looked good. Dak looked good. He looked like he was having one of those all-time games for his career, one of those second-place MVP voting kind of games. And, I think that they probably would have won the game if we don't have a couple of drops from their best receiver, one of the higher-paid receivers in the league. Do I think that the Philly defense would have gave it back up, and lost it from there? No. I think the Philly offense and defense is just a little too composed. I think they probably would have won. They would have ended up with the last possession anyway. So I'm really not too worried about that. I think I know for a fact that Philly was going to win this game. There was an 8.5-point spread on that. I really don't get into that stuff that often, but that's kind of just like a spit in the face to the Cowboys. I think that just kind of shows that they do not think that the Cowboys are good. The pieces they have do not fit. So we'll see how that goes. Cowboys at the Eagles. The Eagles end up squeaking it out. I believe it was 24-20. The Eagles look like they're in good shape. They had a lot of things lacking, lacking running game, no receiving game, and they looked amazing. Pardon this video interruption. We have some breaking news. Come and join the new Twizzler Discord, a place to hang out with friends, make new ones, and find a like-minded community. Find new people to game, chat, or even debate with. We have everything you want and need from Minecraft, Call of Duty, Fortnite, GTA, and our special areas to watch and talk sports. Be sure to join today and stay up to date with the community and all the content we have. Follow the Linktree link in the description, and we'll see you soon. Back to the video. Even against a good Cowboys team. But let's move on to Friday night. Chiefs at Chargers, even though they were playing in Brazil. Chargers, that's their home game, so they will play the Chiefs in Arrowhead at another point during this year. I don't know their schedule. But Herbert ices the game with his legs. That run was phenomenal. I don't know if that was drawn up, because during the game that happened once or twice where the pocket kind of broke down. He didn't have his quick little out route, quick little flat route, so he just turned the other way and ran. It wasn't always towards the open side of the field. There was a couple times where he just ran up the closed side, ran through people. I mean, he's Justin Herbert. He's huge. He can kind of do whatever he wants on the field. But once that play came up, it was third and eight maybe. It was a long third down, and there was enough time for the Chiefs, definitely enough time for the Chiefs to figure something out, even if they punted. So I don't know if it was drawn up by Harbaugh. If it was, I think that'd be probably one of the best designed QB runs. That's not, a sneak or a designed play necessarily, like for pure yardage. They used what happened in the game where the pocket broke down. Said, okay, man, just get out to the side. And he knew what he was doing. It almost seemed like he knew he was going to do that before he even did it. You could just tell by the confidence and, the intensity he had while he was running. It wasn't like he was, let me find my lane, let me go. I think it was, this is what I need to do right now. This is the best option. Let's get it done. So he iced the game with that. The Chargers can give the ball to whoever they want. They give it to their wide receiver who, I think it's Johnson. I want to say it's Johnson. 2 touchdowns from him. I mean, a great night. They really, 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 really don't have a great option. They have Ladd McConkey. He's just small. I mean, his helmet looks huge on him, man. So, I mean, he takes one good hit from, a bigger corner or safety. Let's say, he's in the slot and a linebacker kind of gets up to him and just lays him out. I don't know what's going to happen, But they look good. They looked really good on offense with Herbert leading the helm. Now let's go to the losing side, because the Chargers did end up winning this game. Let's go over to the losing side. Mahomes is going to have magic, and he must feel the pressure already. He was trying hard. Not only was he trying hard to the point where it's like, okay, I want to win this game because I want to. He was trying hard because he knew if he didn't, he was going to lose. And I think that's what happened anyway, is because the pieces around him, even though he was putting in, 110% to try and will that game, you have to throw it to somebody and they have to catch it. That's the whole point of being a quarterback, is distributing the ball. And he's got to have pressure if he's already shocked, throwing his hands up, wondering what's going on. I feel like in the beginning of the year, there's going to be miscommunication. There's going to be things like that. But I also think the Chiefs have this mentality that's been running through their head pretty much ever since Patrick Mahomes has become starter, that they're on a Super Bowl run. And that's true. They've been on a Super Bowl run ever since. They've only missed one, I think, since he's been there. Maybe he's lost two NFC or AFC Championship games, but so for week 1, a loss for the Chiefs is like losing in the wild card round, especially to a division rival, because every game is so important. They want to have 1 seed for the bye to rest their players. They want to have home field advantage, so you'd want to have 2 seed, 3 seed at the worst. You figure now that you already lost a division game, you have to split with the Chargers and then beat everyone else to even have a chance to win the division now, especially since everybody but the Chiefs got a win in division this week. So everybody in their division is already feeling and doing better than the Chiefs, so he's feeling the pressure. On that play, I think they were inside the 10-yard line. Mahomes is standing there, and Kelsey kind of slows up on his route, kind of just stops on it. I don't know if he was looking to feel the middle of the field, even though Derwin James was right on him. I don't know what he was looking for, space or something when you have 5 yards. But he slowed up and the ball went right past him, right in front of him. And Patrick Mahomes is standing there throwing his hands up like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? It's week 1, man. And it's Travis Kelce, bro. He's checked. He just got engaged. He's with Taylor Swift. He's probably made more money now than he's ever had in his life. He's living the Hollywood dream. The guy's really not worried about it. No offense, but the guy's not worried about it anymore. I mean, I think half of Travis Kelce playing in the NFL was him proving that and becoming the best tight end ever. And I think he did that, with his stats and winning championships and everything like that so fast that he's checked out. Probably 2 years ago. Let's move on to Sunday Night Football. What a game. Now, unfortunately for me, I have to be honest, I had to listen to it on radio because I was at work. I work on the weekends and overnight. So I was listening to it on radio, and I kind of stopped caring about the little details, the play-by-play, the, listening to the play breakdown, once it got to be like 40-25. Once it got to be like, okay, this is pretty much out of reach, the Ravens just keep getting the ball back. What are the Bills going to do? I just don't think the Bills really had much to work with in the back half of the game, and then they turned it around. Then the next thing I know, I'm hearing, it's caught. Oh, it's caught for a big gain. Touchdown, Bills. And now the next thing you know, they have the ball back, and, they're doing everything, and they have the magic from the kicker they pulled off of the street to win the game 41-40. The Ravens have the best roster in the NFL. Why can't they beat teams that they should beat? Now, you want to say this only applies to Buffalo, but it applies to Kansas City as well. You can almost say that Lamar has been a better quarterback than Mahomes in the last 2 years. You can say that Josh Allen has been a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes in the last 3 years, whether it's stats-wise. It's hard to say with last year and wins because they won so many close games. I think the Chiefs could have gone undefeated because Josh Allen put that game away last year with his legs, as well. But why can't the Ravens beat teams they're better than? Most of the time they have better quarterback, better running back, they have better position players, they have a strong offensive line, they have a great defensive line, they have an amazing secondary. I mean, it's one of the teams with the most continuity and adding players like D-Hop. Why can't they win? You don't want to say that it all has to be on Lamar, but I think it comes down to the fact that, when they lose, it's not ever by like 20. Ever. It's by like 1 point. It's by like a field goal. It's by 2 points. It might have to do with Lamar. Lamar might need to get 1 or 2 more first downs a game to shed an extra 3 minutes off the clock to make sure that there's no way the Bills have enough time for another possession. Maybe he needs to slow it down a little bit. Use all of the play clock on every play. Run it down to 5 seconds on every play. If he's calling audibles now, he can really do that and keep the play clock running so that way his high-powered offense doesn't just give the ball back to the other team, every 5 minutes. I think time of possession is very important for them. I don't think they utilize time of possession because they have such explosive players. They have Flowers on the field. They have Derrick Henry running a 40-yard. Oh, my God, he killed it this game. Derrick Henry running 40-yard touchdown runs, through the line of scrimmage. Like, you're going to score because you're the Ravens. You have this amazing roster. You don't have to get down there and do it now. Give it 10 to 12 plays, give it 7 to 10 minutes, and really hurt them. Because what happens if you have the possession, you have the ball for 8.5 minutes in the first quarter, you come back, they have 4.5 minutes to really try, more. They have more than that. I'm sorry about that math there. It's been a long day. They got 6.5 minutes to really try and figure something out. And then they go 3 and out on their second set of downs. So then you're finishing up the first quarter with 10 minutes of possession. Well, if you do that in all 3 quarters, there's no way they're winning the game with 20 minutes of possession. But the Ravens are able to get scores so fast that they end up giving the ball back too often. But even when you give it away to other teams, what is it about Josh Allen that makes these opportunities mean so much more? Josh Allen seems to be that guy that when he plays, he's gonna win. Now, I know it sounds like everybody wants to do that in the NFL. That might not be true, but I also think that it comes with the mentality of, I'm also not going to do something to lose us this game. I feel like Josh Allen is one of the least mistake-prone quarterbacks, one of the least injury-prone quarterbacks, even though he runs the ball a ton and takes hits. I feel like he is one of the better passing quarterbacks, even though he has a good running game. He just kind of fills the spot better than a lot of other quarterbacks do. Like, Lamar for a long time was like, he's a legs guy. And then his throwing started to get better. And it's like, oh, now he's really a true dual threat. And then he started throwing it a little too much. And it's like, hey, we got to get back. We're getting away from the legs. His legs were so good. We're getting away from the legs. So I think that Josh Allen's development has just been getting all of the best parts of his game to be better and eliminating whatever mistakes you could say that a guy like Josh Allen makes, because it's very far and few in between. It's almost like, I hate to bring up the Bears again. Well, I don't want to say again because they're coming up next, but I hate to bring up the Bears early. But you think about a guy like Caleb who threw almost no interceptions last year. And a lot of people, a lot of sports people, a lot of just casual people were looking around saying, it seems like he didn't throw the ball enough. Didn't seem like he put the ball into dangerous places to try and make a play. Didn't look like he was trying to throw it to guys who are NFL open. I think that if you take shots down the field, 50-50 balls, well, 50-50 means that the other guy can get it too. And if you got to throw some interceptions. Josh Allen's interceptions are the ones that aren't going to hurt you. They're not like a Will Levis, you're on the 30 and you throw a pick and it gets run back. You're not a J.J. McCarthy who throws it and, you're 80 yards down the field, that corner is so fast nobody's catching them. Josh Allen is really the man. But the problem with the Bills is if they're playing good teams like the Ravens, are they going to have to come back every game? 7 to 14, 17 points just to try and win a game? If you think about the Bears last year, they were always behind like 20 points at halftime, and then all of a sudden the game would be close. It'd be within, a touchdown, maybe a field goal. The Chiefs last year, they won off a blocked field goal. They won off of, just the craziest stuff. Last second, runs, passes, clock management. Do the Bills have the juice to have a Chiefs-like season from last year? Are they going to be able to pull out all of these close games? Are they going to be able to pull it out? Are they going to be able to do what they need to do? Because, Josh Allen is the MVP. AFC Championship appearance again. You beat the Chiefs in the regular season last 2 years in a row, and you go to the playoffs and lose. Do they have the juice to make it all the way to week, let's say 20? In the divisional round or the championship games, and, you're 5 months into the season, are you going to have the juice to make it happen? So let's move on to a heartbreaker for me. I'm a Bears fan, so Vikings at Bears in Chicago, Soldier Field. Bears do bear things and lose the game. That's what I have as my first point. I knew they were going to lose in the second quarter, and I want to say that very confidently because I was watching on my phone, and I happened to look down while I'm walking around doing something on break, whatever. And I look down and I see that they have that win probability on the screen. And it said win probability 74%. I think they were, only up 11, 21-9. It was, I want to say second quarter, 4 minutes left. You can fact check me. I don't know if the score was to that point yet, but there wasn't much time left in the game. It seemed like everybody had kind of written off the Vikings, especially after the way that McCarthy was performing. Next thing you know, we lose. McCarthy must have had a shot at Toradol or something. He turned into Superman after that pick six. It seemed like after he got picked off, he might have woke up. He might have done the thing Caleb Williams needed to do last year. And throw a bad pick, throw a good pick, throw a pick, hurt a little, go back out there, and maybe be a little bit more attentive. Look for details. Don't settle. J.J. McCarthy did something. He became Superman after that pick six. After a pick six. It's hard to swallow. Where is the offensive efficiency from Ben Johnson? That was the number one thing everybody was talking about on the Bears the last 2 years is, wow, look at this team. They're so efficient. Look at the yards, the designed plays, the designed runs. Everything this team is doing, it has a purpose. They're driving for points. Where is that on this team? Now, you can say that it's the facilitator. I feel like Jared Goff is a much better just facilitator of the ball. Of course, everybody's going to talk about the athlete. Being an athlete is important. For the first time in NFL history on week 1, they had 16 black starting quarterbacks. I replied on Twitter, I said, I would not be surprised if very soon it's 32. The speed is superior. The pure athletic ability is superior. Most of the time, height is going to be superior. So most teams, I think within 5 years, once a Stafford, a Goff, even like a I know Russell Wilson is black, but just think about that play style, the kind of stand in the pocket. He used to be way more dynamic. Once those stand there and throw the ball guys are kind of out of the league, that's it. It's going to be a pure dual threat playmaker type quarterback league where these guys are going to be running around in the backfield. Most of the time they're going to be throwing short delivered passes from the pocket, probably more often than not, hoping to get yards downfield. Where's that efficiency for the Bears? Caleb is a much better athlete than Jared Goff in his division. But Jared Goff can get the ball out faster, more deliberate, and he can put it in better windows than Caleb Williams. So, I saw a John Middlecloth video today titled, Ben Johnson Cannot Fix It in Chicago. And I'm starting to agree. Last year I would love to say it was all coaching. But once they got rid of the coaches, things didn't get much better. When they played bad teams, they underperformed. When they played good teams, they couldn't hang. The Vikings looked good. I don't want to just talk about the Bears. The Vikings looked really good. I think the Vikings, that fourth quarter kind of shows what they're probably going to be most of the year. I don't want them to have to be the comeback kid of the NFL either, kind of like with the Bills. You don't want to have to be the comeback kid every single week. But I think the Vikings look good. They got a promise. They have promise. But let's move into a couple other games that I want to go over just very, very fast. This has been going on longer than I've wanted it to already. Let's just get into it really quick. Let's do Dolphins at Colts. I'm sure everybody's talked about this one for a few reasons, but let's start at the top. Danny Dimes, who's now Indiana Jones, I love that, is killing it. But the thing with Daniel Jones, don't make him your QB1 in fantasy. Don't do it. You have to beware of a bad Miami defense and a bad Miami offense. I think a lot of things that people don't, one thing that people don't realize, is that time of possession on offense also directly correlates to the time on the field your defense is. So if you have low time of possession, you have poor drives, much like Miami did, your defense is going to be on the field much more, and the other offense is going to have the ball much more. So your team is just going to be tired, and they're just not going to have a chance. And I think that's what happened. I think as the game went on, they realized, okay, this is out of reach, but man, I've been on the field. I'm gassed. I'm tired. I want to sit down. And then Tua has another 3-and-out. Another pick. Beware of a bad Miami defense. Tua and his receivers look lost out there. Doesn't help with the reports of the team being soft and having a bad locker room culture. It's definitely Miami Vice down there. Everybody's playing a game. Nobody's really playing football, though. You can tell. I think Daniel Jones may be much better than we all thought. I think his 2022 season kind of showed his potential. Maybe like a 9-win season with a playoff appearance and a win, but then a swift exit after. Daniel Jones is probably one of the smarter QBs in the league. That's something that you can see when you watch in interviews. That's what they say in New York. He's probably one of the best people in the quarterback room. He's great on film, great in practice. You just put him out there 11 against 11 on the field, and something changes. Something happens. But I think the Texans might have a threat in the AFC South now with the Colts, especially since their offensive line looked bad. Their receivers look bad. CJ Stroud looked bad. I think that the Texans are growing. I think that, they might win a Super Bowl in 5 years if they can, they can look at their team and make the changes they need to. But I think that now they have a threat in the AFC South with the Colts, especially if they can just win the easy games they're supposed to win. They're competitive in the games they're not supposed to win, and they steal a couple that they for sure should not win. They have a good chance. They really do. I think they're going to be a positive winning team this year. But let's stay in the AFC. Steelers at Jets, the Freaky Friday situation with the quarterbacks. New Freaky Friday's coming out in theaters. You should watch that. Not sponsored. That's Disney. But I think Justin Fields looks the best he's ever looked in his career. Being a Bears fan, that hurts. He looked great. But that kind of worries me for the Steelers defense. The fact that they were getting worked by a written-off Fields who nobody wanted, not even the Steelers who played him 6 games last year and got 4 wins, they didn't want him. The Bears didn't want him. No team really wanted him, probably other than the Jets, to be honest. For a starting position. So the fact that they were getting cut up by Fields is worrying. But this is also the first time Justin Fields can do what he wants to do, where he's trusted. The offense is kind of worked around him, built around him. It's kind of a running style, short pass, but still effective offense. I also think that, the Jets have good pieces. Garrett Wilson, Sauce on defense. A couple of good players. Especially with this defensive identity, I think they have a better chance to stay in games. And Justin Fields, who's able to just get points, has a good chance to keep them in games as well. But one point I really have to make, especially for the Steelers, is can that defense, who almost gave up 40 in Week 1 to Justin Fields and the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, the same guy who said, I'm happy to beat anyone associated with the Jets, just almost lost, almost gave up 40. Can they hold off 40-point Lamar, who did it against the Bills, who are one of the top 3 teams in the AFC every year for the past 5 years? Can they do it? What about Big Arm Burrow? Both of those guys are in division. They have to play them twice a year. That's what happened to the Steelers season last year. They had to play the Bengals and the Ravens late, and they lost. So, can the Steelers and A-Rod, who's 41, going into January and December, hold off these big, high-powered offenses? Just genuinely. Can the defense do it? I know Aaron Rodgers can go and he can throw and he can, whatever. But then he has to play against these defense. He won't have a problem against Cincinnati. Aaron Rodgers will probably drop 40 points against Cincinnati. But, whatever. Now let's go to our honorable mention game. This is probably one of the most boring games of the week. Probably one of the games that won't matter as well, because it doesn't really have any division implication, not a lot of conference implication, because these teams won't be in the playoffs. Let's go Raiders at Patriots. Geno looks good. Great. In gray and black. Silver and black. He passed for 300 yards in his Raider debut in the regular season. He played really well. I think Geno's going to be able to play the way he wants a little more, having his old coach back in Pete Carroll. I think they're going to probably work the offense, around him a little bit better. I know in Seattle they didn't have the best coordinators, but now you have Chip Kelly, who was just winning national championships. You have Pete Carroll, right? They looked really good. The fact that he passed for 300 yards and they really don't have a wide receiver 1, and they have 2 tight ends, 2 of them, 2 tight ends. It's crazy. Genti did get off to a slower start for the season. Not very many yards. Which kind of worries me about the O-line. He's a break tackle kind of guy. That was his whole shtick in college. That's what made him a Heisman finalist, was his yards after contact and his total rushing yards. So are the O-line just letting people by? Letting people get to him? Is he not finding the NFL lanes? Is he just not have the timing yet? There's a lot to think about. They do have the best tight end room in the league, so they need to take advantage of that. They need to have better coverages, maybe some, jumbo packages to help block for Genty so he can kind of get more yards, man. I know it sounds crazy, but he just needs to get more yards. All right, guys, and to finish up, we're going to do a little segment we are going to be calling the final drive, the finishing drive, 2-minute drill, something like that. Let's go with the final drive. This is the final drive. We're going to start on 1st and 10. We're going to go with the good plays of the week. All right, let's switch over here to our videos. Now, I'm going to have all these muted, but let's start with 1st and 10. This is a great play. This is going to kind of just show you what the Bucs are going to be working on this year. So they lost 2 games in division to Atlanta last year. And let's just see kind of what we're going to see from the rookie here hooking up with Baker. So a great pass down the field. It floated perfectly. A place where he can just kind of go up and get it. It's not right here in the breadbasket where it's like I'm talking to you over here. It's not right here in the breadbasket or in the chest where the DB can come and swipe it down. I don't know if you saw. Let's go back honestly for just a second. You can see that he catches it right. See how he has to jump because it's a little high. He catches it above his head. It's not like right here where the guy could have just, put his arm out, swiped, stripped it out, whatever. It was perfect. 59 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Ices the game, essentially. They do miss the extra point. A lot of missed kicks this week in week 1 with the new K-balls. I thought that was a great play. Great play. And on 1st and 10 in real life, too, you can't get much better. Cannot get much better. Let's move on to... Let's see, what do we have today? We got 2nd and 6. This is our disrespectful play of the week. This is Cam Scadaboo. He is just running into everybody. He is putting his head first, head down, even his own teammates, knocking over his own linemen. I mean, it's insane. He's just trucking everybody. He's going to be a menace. He's going to be a power back. He's going to be a fullback. He's going to be running over people, setting up blocks, doing everything possible. Cam Scadaboo and the New York Giants, as bad as they looked in week 1 against the previous NFC Championship contender, I would not be very worried. I think that they have a lot of upside because they have Russell Wilson on their team. Nowadays, that once he stops playing, you're going to have a better quarterback in there. So the fact that they played, I want to say, average for Giants stuff, average. Yeah, anyway, that's our 2nd down play. Let's move into 3rd and 2. This is our impact play of the week. I think this is the most important thing that happened in the NFL for the week 1. Matt Prater off the couch gets called up from the Bills, basically saying, hey, we need a kicker. So he flies on a red-eye flight, I think a Friday before the Sunday night game, to Buffalo, signs with them.
32 yards, Prater made it, and the Bills.
Field goal. They're loving him. They've lost games in Buffalo to field goals. So the fact that he just came in and made it, chills. An amazing moment, a great moment, winding down the final drive. We got one thing left to go over. 4th and inches, the shock of the week, the CeeDee Lamb drops. What happened to CeeDee Lamb? Let's go over this real quick. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to kind of watch it. Great passes from Dak. If they don't have another camera angle, and you just see it, this is a pretty poor quality video, but you just see it from behind, you think, oh, this DB got his hand around. Or it must have hit him in the face mask or something. Because the way the ball flies out is like, boing. It's like he had it, and then it just went right back out. I think it looks like he started to run before he really caught it. You can kind of see right there. He's getting his eyes forward. I know he's still looking to the side, but he's getting his eyes forward before he secures the ball. And the reason you know it is because his eyes have to go back to the ball when it pops out. So let's just watch this. He looks away. He's trying to run forward before the pass is secured. He goes to secure it. He's still looking. He's still looking up. Still looking ahead. The ball's out of his hands, out of his grasp, and then he's looking for it. So it's like they tell you, if you're ever in football or anything like that, catch the ball. Catch the ball before you run. Because if you secure the catch, get the ball secured, and then run. I think he knew he had pressure on him, but right here, you can tell right here he's looking forward to run. Because here is where he thought he caught the ball. Let's just play it through. He never caught that ball. It wasn't like it was in his hands and he let it go. And then here's the second one. This one I don't really understand because people say, oh, he didn't need to dive. And maybe not. Maybe not. It's coming down just about perfect. I mean, I don't think he needed to dive for that. I really don't. You see the speed boost he gets from when he springs right there. When he springs, he gets like a speed boost. But it looked like he slowed up to jump. It's not like he was full sprint in stride running to try and get the ball. It looked like, and I'll show you right where I think he slows up to try and do the jump. Right here. He loads it up off of this leg too. You can kind of see it. Do. He planned the jump. Let's see it one more time. Do. It's like he saw the ball coming and he's like, okay, let me wind up. It's like 3 steps that he takes that really wind it up. It's like 2 or 3 steps before he decides he's going to jump. He kind of do, and then jumps. He didn't need to. Everybody in the world knows he did not need to dive at the ball. But anyway, guys, if I've had a blurry mic or a blurry camera, please excuse me. Alright, guys, so this went on way longer than I wanted it to. I appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to leave a like. Be sure to come back next week. I'm going to try and have them out a little earlier. Just got a lot going on in the early parts of the week, so stay with me. Hang in with me. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.